Welcome to show 252 of the Arc Junkies Podcast. Today I'm chatting with my buddy Dusty James from Pacific Arc TIG Welding. Dusty and I have been chatting back and forth for quite a bit since his first appearance on the show over a year ago. We finally got to meet up in person at FabTech. I love chatting with this dude. We have very similar goals and mindsets. It was awesome to finally meet him and talk face to face. Dusty is he's a badass TIG welder who runs Pacific Arc TIG Welding on YouTube and also has an online curriculum so that you can learn how to TIG from your garage or anywhere else where you have access to a TIG machine. So be sure to check out his channel and give him a follow on Instagram if you have not done so already. We'll get right into the episode right after a quick word from the supporters of the show. Today's episode of the Arc Junkies Podcast is brought to you by Rockmount Research and Alloys, helping you weld stronger so your repairs can last longer. I've spoken extensively about the different electrodes Rockmount has for stick welding, but I also want to let you know they make some pretty cool TIG wires as well, one of which is specifically designed for cast iron and cast steel applications. The Jupiter TIG B filler wire is specially suited for use on all cast iron parts or for joining cast iron to cast steel. Deposits are strong, dense, and fully machinable. Unlike other rods meant for cast alloys, Jupiter B doesn't require any special techniques to apply it. Jupiter TIG B works really well for repairing critical cast iron components such as valves, pumps, blocks, or machine housings, and yields high-quality welds at 60,000 psi with minimal time and effort. Check out Jupiter B TIG today at rockmountwelding.com. And while you're there, you can save 10% off when you order some of their abrasives, burrs, bits, or blades when you use Arc Junkies 10 at checkout. Get the job done right the first time, every time with Rockmount. We're also brought to you by Outlaw Leather. You only have to wait just a few more days to take advantage of their awesome Black Friday sale. This Friday, November 25th, Outlaw is going to be selling $100 hoods. So if you've been waiting for a sale to pick up a new Outlaw hood, the wait is finally over. Also, this one's for the ladies. My friends at Outlaw, in conjunction with Stephanie Hoffman of Underground Metalworks, just released a woman's welding jacket. This jacket is strong, tough, and full of attitude. It's time to stand out. This new leather jacket looks great on women of all shapes and sizes and is made of high quality material. Ladies, I get it. You don't have many options when it comes to PPE, especially in a male-dominated industry. But now there's a jacket that's been designed, cut, and stitched with you in mind. You can order your jacket right now when you go to outlawleather.com, or you can pick it up in person at the Outlaw Leather brick and mortar store in Pasadena, Texas. And one last thing, if you're planning on getting a custom hood for yourself or that special welder in your life, you must get your order in by November 29th to get it by Christmas. All right, you know what time it is. Fire up your machine, drop your hood, and turn me up 5.
You're listening to the Arc Junkies Podcast, helping you make every weld better than your last with each episode. And now your host, Jason Becker.
Dude, it is fan-fucking-tastic to meet you in person.
Cheers. Thank you for the beer. I totally pulled the move where we got into the lineup of beer, and I was like, oh, I totally forgot my wallet.
How convenient.
It's back at the booth. Do you mind? So I'll get the round after we finish here.
No, we're good. I got drink tickets for the event tonight. We'll be straight.
Yeah. No, that's funny, man. So, yeah, what a crazy day so far. Like, yeah, it's fun. This is insane.
It's a whole new experience, whole new world.
Yeah, you, as well as many other people, I only know online. Only ever talked to online.
Yeah, we've been chatting, well, hell, since like the first time you came on the podcast, back and forth via WhatsApp and like voice messages back and forth for quite a while now. We both kind of made a leap of faith and left our day jobs and started pursuing content creation full time.
Dude.
And bouncing back and forth on ideas. It's really cool to watch, you grow, and then, I'm kind of growing at the same time. So it's kind of cool to have somebody to kind of go through this whole experience with together, yet still kind of separate.
Yeah. without the voice connection, like we can leave like the voice messages on WhatsApp is so important to me.
It's super convenient.
Oh, it's so convenient, and it's so funny. Like, my wife will hear me listening to one of your messages, and she's like, "What are you listening to?" I'm like, "Oh, it's a message from Jason or my friend Danny or whoever." And she's like, "Okay, like you just listen to messages from each other?" I'm like, "Yeah, we just text each other like
Too much to type.
like, we just talk." And
Yeah.
it's so funny. We'll be like, rummaging around with something as we're talking, and she's like, "This is like a really boring podcast," or like,
Kinda.
kinda.
Yeah, it's just not for everybody.
No, it's funny to me, but yeah, for her, it's funny. But yeah, no, it's cool, man, because like we made the leap like within how close of each other?
Maybe a couple months, maybe.
Yeah, I jumped my first, or I guess my last day of work was at the end of June.
Yeah, and I left in early August.
Yeah, so we were really close together, but yeah, it's crazy, man, because like you and I chatted like a lot leading up to that. It was a long time coming for sure. I knew I wanted to do it, go full time with like my channel and then like training people online and all that. But yeah,
It's a lot though. Like, I mean, you know as well as I do. I mean, you were there, like working a full-time job, taking care of a family, and then you got your side hustle going on, and it's just so much. And then you get to a point where like everybody's like, I'm working a full-time job. I got the side hustle going on. Like, how do I know when to pull the pin? Like, when does your full-time job start interfering with your side hustle? When does that side hustle or what you're doing on the side become more lucrative for you and your family, whether it's time, money, or a combination of both, to say, hey, like, this work thing's really getting in my way?
Yeah, you're super right, and it's tough because you always have an idea of what it will be like, but it never happens that way. It's like you say, you're drowning in like the amount of stuff you have to do, and then you have to have a serious conversation with yourself where you're like, man, like, I love my job. Like, I quit the month before my 20 year at my job.
Oh, damn.
I was the CWS there, and like, it was just inevitable at that point. I couldn't put it off any longer, and it was like, I always knew it would reach a point where that would happen, but it happened way sooner than I thought. Not because like I blew up or anything. It's just I had a lot of ideas of what I wanted to do, and it made less sense to put those ideas off any longer. So it was a bit of a leap of faith because like I haven't seen, the results of all that hard work yet. But I'm not going to be able to get that hard work done if I continue the current thing I'm doing right now. So yeah, that's why I was like, well,
It's like I got to pull the pin.
let's do it.
And it takes a lot of planning, and I mean it's like a big thing because there's a lot of anxiety. Like you support your family.
Yeah.
Like I support my family, and it's like, well, I've got this steady stream of income coming in. I've got good insurance coming in. I've got some benefits, rolling in.
Yeah.
If I leave all this, I don't have that constant stream of income. I don't know if there's going to be a paycheck Friday.
Yeah.
Like I got to get out there and hustle and bust my ass, and honestly, it's a lot more work doing it, than it is to go to work for somebody else. But now I'm building my dream.
Yeah.
Instead of building somebody else's dream, which I like that.
You said it, man. I work 7 days a week, like, and not to flex on it because you hear a lot of people say that like a badge of honor, but it's like, no, I just genuinely really care about, for starters, all my online students I work with. Like I'm there any day for them.
Yeah.
But like I also have a lot of plans of what I want to do, like more videos for YouTube, more art projects, more like, projects I want to build for my friends. Like I'm trying to build my dad like a sick like headache rack for his truck and all that. And if I worked Monday to Friday, whatever, like I wouldn't be able to accomplish it all. And because I want those things to move forward, that's why I'm in the shop on Saturday nights after my kids go to bed, or like waking up at like 5 a.m. on a Sunday, just like.
Yeah, you got a crazy ass schedule now. But in like at the same time, like I kind of dialed myself back to 6 days a week.
Yeah,
when I was with the school, I was doing pretty much 7 because I was giving 5 to them, and then like doing all my stuff on the weekends, or even on like a Wednesday night when I'd record an episode. It takes a lot to go through and like edit it and process it and get everything. You do the same thing with video. But like now I was able to dial back to 6 days a week. So like Saturdays is always, that's reserved for the family. The wife, she's off from work. The kids are out of school. So we always try to do something on Saturday. That way I got a day that I can definitely spend with them. But the cool thing is, now that I've gone out on my own, I can spend a lot more time with my family. because I'm there. I'm not necessarily like engaged. I mean, we're all kind of off doing our own little things. You know, I got 2 preteens, so they don't want to hang out with Dad anymore because that's not cool. But
they they don't want to hang out with you forever.
Well, no, my daughter I think does, but my son, he's like, yeah, you know, he's 13, so he's at that age where he's like, yeah, you know, whatever, it's cool. But I mean, we spent a lot of time when he was growing up. Like, I was really involved with scouts, and he was in T-ball and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So, but I mean, that's like the cool thing is now I have more time to spend with them. At least I'm around. You know, I might be out in the garage or I might be out in the podcast studio, but it's like I'm always in and out of the house.
That's cool, because like you and I talked about on the last podcast how my kind of like obsessive like work ethic, it stops me from doing a lot of stuff. Then I think you and I talked about how I'd found like a pretty big importance of like scheduling in.
Yeah.
Like whether it's like a day just to like dip out and spend it with the whole family, or like a night where I'm like, I'm not editing. I'm just gonna like go jam. Like I love playing music and stuff, so I'll go do that with my buddies, and it's yeah. So to have a day like that is super valuable, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's it been like since you took that leap? You know, doing the episodes, and like you're still doing fabrication projects and art pieces and all that stuff.
Yeah.
You find it a lot more easy to get things done, and a lot easier to stay on track, or are you getting sidetracked and diverted just as much?
Not so much sidetracked. My problem is that like when I was in my full-time grind, like in the CWS, and like, you know, I do that 40 hours a week, and then I work, you know, early mornings, late nights on my own stuff, and I was like, God, I can't wait till I have that time, because that time will allow me to do, I got this project I want to start, I want to work on this to make my program better, website work, like I do all that myself, so I was like, I'm going to have all this spare time, it's going to be sick.
Yeah.
And it was like, I just got even busier like with those things, so it's been interesting because I don't work like the late, like, you know, nights like I do, or like I was when I was doing the full-time gig, but I guess I'm getting ahead, which is good. But I don't know, like maybe you could speak to this, but like when I was at my full-time job, I completed projects all the time. Like it's like, you know, whether it's in a visual inspection or whatever I was doing that day, training someone or working on a project, I would be able to finish it, check it off the list, put it in the work order, like it's done, right? And when you're doing your own work, like you don't get to check things off the list that much. Like it just, things take longer, and like sometimes fires pop up. You got to be the fireman, and it's like, oh, I got a student who's stuck on something, I got to jump on a Zoom call, like, and it just like, you get to check those things off the list way less frequently, and that's been really hard. Like,
So I shared with you Peter McKinnon.
yeah, I love that dude.
And so like one of the things, I was watching one of his episodes, and one of the things he was talking about was like 8 critical tasks. So I went out and got a notebook, and like literally I started it, I fell off the wagon, I got to get back onto it. But it's you write down eight critical tasks that you need to get done in a given day. And sometimes you can throw yourself a bone and be like, just something easy. But it gets you in that mentality of putting a check in the box, like staying on task, completing things, you know, literally putting a check in the box. And you got to complete all your 8 critical tasks every day. And you're supposed to do it for like 100 days straight. And if you miss a task, you know, you get 7 done, you know, you're on day 99, guess what? You got to start back on day 1.
Wow, that's heavy.
So it's pretty heavy.
So you
so I got to start back on day 1. I got it over here in my box. I got to bust that thing out and like write down 8 critical tasks.
Wow.
But I noticed that when I was doing it, I stayed a lot more focused. And I would try to sit down on like every night and try to write my 8 critical tasks for the next day.
Right.
Or, you know, like first thing in the morning, like now I drop the kids off to school every day. As soon as I get home, you know, like while I'm finishing up my coffee, write down my 8 critical tasks.
Is it always work-related stuff, or is it like other stuff too?
It could be anything. Like, you know, like I got to clean out the garage, or I got to get this set up, or I got to get this part out, or I got to release an episode, or I need to schedule, you know, a guest for this podcast, or, you know, whatever the case may be. Just 8 critical tasks. Doesn't have to be work-related. It's just got to be like 8 things you got to get done that day.
Yeah.
The cool thing is like I'm a procrastinator by nature.
Okay.
So I'll let things build up until like the 11th hour, and then I can like hyper focus and just like get shit done quick.
Yeah.
So the 8 critical tasks allows me to kind of like stay on task, you know, essentially throughout the day.
Okay.
And so I quit kind of getting sidetracked and all that.
That's interesting, because like, I mean, you could probably, like, would you ever start your list off with some softies to like get the momentum going kind of thing?
You can do it in any order that you want.
Huh. I do like that.
You just got to get 8 of them done. And like some of them's like, make a call, lock this in, schedule that, just 8 tasks.
Huh.
But it gets you in the habit of putting a check in a box. I'm a huge fan of putting checks in boxes. Like I like having tasks that I can visually see and say, oh, okay, I need to get this done. Because like I've got all these grandiose ideas that I want to do with the podcast or with my my side business, doing weld inspections or certifications and stuff. I've got all these great ideas that I want to do, and it's like, oh yeah, I'll remember that. And then when I get some downtime, it's like, shit, I don't know what I should be doing right now.
Yeah.
But if you write them down, it keeps you like super focused.
That is cool. I wish that I didn't have so much weird stuff pop up throughout the day. Like
that does throw you in, but then you can prioritize.
That is
like
a good idea.
Or hey, today I'm going to do 9 critical tasks because I'm going to add another box because I got to get this thing done. And now this is on my radar. A student pops up. I got to handle that. I'll do that at 3:00. Boom, write it down, and then I'll set an alarm.
Yeah. Setting alarms is big, dude. Because I have my book, and I'm really good. Like the night before, I always put my book together of like what I'm doing the next day. But I hit task number 1, and it's just like, I'll get an email from a student, or I got something to take care of, and I just abandon all procedure, and I don't look at my book until like the afternoon coffee, and I'm like, oh, I forgot, got to go back and do this, that kind of thing. So yeah, I set alarms to
Alarms
look.
are super helpful.
Yeah, it's I would be lost without them for sure.
Are you an afternoon coffee kind of guy?
Oh, I'm coffee 24/7.
I like my coffee at 3.
3's good?
Yeah, 3's a good cup of coffee. Anything later, I got a hard time sleeping now that I'm getting older.
Oh, interesting. So I'm the type of dude, I can put a coffee back after dinner.
I used to do
and
that.
I'm fine, but I don't know.
Yeah, I used to do that, and then it became an issue. So I had to fill in for one of the nighttime instructors, and 7 o'clock, dude, I was like, oh, man, I am dragging ass. So I went to my office, I grabbed a thing of coffee, and threw it in the Keurig or whatever, and I was like, all right, yeah, and I'm back on track. I got that last little blip to get me through till 10 o'clock. Then I got home, and I was like, why can't I fall asleep? It's 2 o'clock in the morning. I was like, oh yeah, dumbass, you drank coffee at 7 o'clock. No wonder you can't sleep. You're not used to coffee after 3.
Yeah, that's interesting. Maybe I'll get to that point.
I was bad, dude. I was drinking a gallon a day. So I've got one of those quart-sized Yeti cups. I was drinking 4 of those a day, black coffee.
Wow.
Oh, it was great. All the time. All the time. And then I had to dial her back. It's I need to get some more water in this system.
So if you threw water in between all those coffees, would that make it okay? Because that's what I do.
Probably not. I mean, I was still drinking water, but probably my coffee to water ratio is definitely on the coffee side. Leaning hard toward the coffee side.
Yeah, but I don't know, man. we do what you got to do until you feel like you can dial it back.
Yeah.
Because you're right. You got to function well, right? I hit points where I'm during the day, and I've done a Zoom call with someone. I filmed a couple episodes for YouTube, and I got to go into the shop and do, weld this or that kind of thing, right? And I'm like, okay, I've had 4 coffees. I haven't eaten much, and I'm all jittery, and my brain is scattered and stuff. And it's interesting because I also had the structure before of coffee breaks and a lunch break and a certain amount of time that I spend doing, whatever it was I would do. And I don't have that anymore. No, I've found that to be the hardest part about working for myself. Yeah. Is I don't take a break. I don't take lunch. I just work through everything. And my wife's like, why haven't you eaten all day? And I was like, well, you weren't here to make me something and remind me that I needed sustenance. So I'm just out here cranking away, doing stuff. I kind of need that, maybe that'll be one of my 8 critical tasks is eat lunch. You know what? Because those are the types of things. Like I said, I just pass because I'm too scatterbrained or whatever, right? And I do that type of reminder for even picking up my kids from school and stuff. I'm pretty solid about remembering, but yeah, it's that's a critical task. That's a big task. Yeah, put that on your list. Yeah, don't forget that. Yeah, but no, it's been really cool, and I've noticed a big change in myself over the last 4 months or something like that. And I'm really intrigued to see what that will look like another year from now. Also, this being my first Fab Tech, coming here, I'm really excited to see what it looks like next year because you've seen your progression over the years, and you're like a crazy popular dude here now. Like,
Apparently.
Well, you are. I mean, you got like, we were trying to text about setting something up, and you're like, well, I could maybe fit you here, and I could, but oh, no, I have something, we got to move you over here. And I was like, that's really cool, because that, you know, you've put in your time doing everything in general with the industry and stuff, and now you're doing this, which is a totally different kind of chapter of what you were doing on the side. And
different ball game, different chapter, same book.
Yeah, it's interesting. So like, I'm curious to see, like, with the evolution I've seen of my business, and you know, I've been doing my business for over 3 years now, but now that I'm doing it full time, like, yeah,
it'd be interesting to see where it goes, what you can do with it.
Yeah, and just what, like, even what we're talking about with, like, you know, my organization, my planning, prioritizing, not biting off more than I can chew, because that's a big problem of mine. I say yes to everything. And it's like,
I had that problem for a while.
Did you?
Oh yeah, I had to start telling people no. And it, like, my biggest thing was, like, I was afraid to tell people no, because if I say no to this opportunity, I might not get another one.
Yeah.
But then, like, that, it honestly wasn't the case, because I kept saying yes to everything. And every time I said yes, it led to another opportunity, or, you know, like another opportunity. And like, I was like, if I say no, like, all this is going to stop. It's going to come to a crashing halt, and then I'm going to have to start back from scratch.
Yeah.
Like, I was super paranoid that was going to happen. And it just got to a point where I was like, I'm physically, and I think that's the last time that we chatted, because I listened to that episode on the way to KWI.
Oh, you
just
did?
to check the audio quality and everything. But I was like, damn, I can feel it. Like, I was so mentally and physically drained from saying yes to everything.
Right.
It's like, I really, like, for health reasons, I've got to start saying no to some things, and like regrouping, and kind of like, you know, just getting back to center.
Yeah.
You know, not getting too far off keel. You know, because that starts to, like, really mess you up.
It impacts you physically.
Yeah.
Like, I notice a difference in, like, my sleep, my general mood and stuff, and like, I try and keep up with, like, being in the gym and working out a little bit, but like, I can't even focus on, like, it just affects everything, dude. Like, your stress level, even though you may be handling it, like, that's kind of my problem, is like, I'll say I'm stressed, but I'm just going.
Don't do
like,
anything about it?
No,
Yeah.
I do nothing about it.
So that's been one of my critical tasks a couple of times. Is like, on my list, it's like, go to the gym. Like, I know I need to go to the gym, and I mean, but that's been one of the things that have really helped me out, like, mentally and physically, you know, because I've got really bad ADD.
Okay.
So when I go to the gym,
Really? You
it's
seem so chill.
it's like,
Not that people aren't chill who have
Right.
ADD, but you're like,
well, it's not it's not ADD HD, so I don't have the hyperactive part.
okay.
It's just like, I can't focus. I like Margaret from AWS. She calls it ADOS. I've got what the hell is it? Attention deficit. Oh shit, squirrel. But the cool thing, when I go to the gym,
yeah.
I can actually just put my headphones in and put my phone on Do Not Disturb, and I can, like, focus on just that. And that's like, I'll do an hour of that, and then I'll hit, like, the cross trainer, or what the hell is it? The fucking thing you walk on, the treadmill. I'll hit the treadmill, but I'll throw that incline, like, up as high as it'll go, and I'll walk on that for like 30 minutes, and then I'll go hit the sauna for 15. So that's like a 2-hour mental, like, separation of everything else that I have. There's nothing.
Good for you.
It's very similar to welding, but I don't get to weld as often as I'd like to.
Yeah.
So it's like when you flip your hood down, like, everything else goes away. It's like when I walk into the gym, everything else goes away. I can focus on that, and then right after I get out of there, I turn my phone on, I get all my notifications, and, you know, I'm running from that point.
That's cool, because like, when I hit the exercise bike or whatever, hey, there's Dabs Wellington. What's up, Dabs? All right, I'm gonna take a video of
He's
him.
my camera guy.
Are you a camera guy? Should be. I gotta grab the tripod. We'll take a break in a second. I'll set the camera up.
All right.
Oh, he turned away. Never mind.
He's coming back. Hey, Dad.
No, forget about it. I'll be on the exercise bike, using my headphones with the voice dictation, sending emails. Like, I just can't.
No,
get
you gotta
away
turn it
from
off, man.
now.
You gotta figure out a way to, like, get back to your center.
You're right. You're so right.
And that's why I like chatting with you. Like, we do this stuff on WhatsApp all the time.
Yep.
And, like, kind of keep each other in check to a certain extent, or, like, throw new ideas out at each other. Like, hey, man, I think you should do this, or add this to your show, or your, you know, whatever.
Yeah.
It's great having that sounding board, even though you're, like, 6 fucking time zones away.
Well, yeah, it is. We're across the continent.
Yeah.
And like, but it's you've had experience in the industry in a certain way. I've had experience in the industry in a different way. You're doing one form of media. I'm doing another form of media. Like, I could learn so much from you, and you could learn like some stuff
so
from
much
me
from
too.
you. Yeah.
Like it is crazy, man. Because like it's also kind of interesting because like I was talking to like a bunch of the people from the Edge team, like the Edge Welding Cups, and like, you know, they were saying like, you know, they watch some of my stuff and they think what I was doing was cool, but I was like, but what you do is different, and I think that's so cool, and I can't mess with any of that stuff. It's like everybody is kind of like a professional in their own
way,
specialty, right?
Yeah, but there's a lot of overlap between just who you are as a person, who I am as a person. Like I don't know, I think there's a lot of synergy there.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's interesting, man. It's like I think we got on, like, we did the first podcast, and then we started. I was like, we were talking about Joe Rogan stuff.
Yeah.
And then it's like, okay, like you listen to the same episodes I do, kind of thing, and then it's
like the same books, same podcast, same like a lot of shit.
Yeah, it's cool. It's like like I'm a pretty social dude. I like talking to most people, but you can really strike a chord with people and like much so the case with you. It's like. And especially like we talked about earlier, like we're going through the same evolution in our business and professional lives that like, and you got kids, I got kids, like.
It's kind of like having somebody at the shop. Like, I mean, you like we're like you said, we're on two different sides of the continent.
Yeah.
But it's like having, you know, a coworker, kind of.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because like when I'm at home, like it's just me. Nobody else is there. I'm out in the studio doing my thing.
Yeah.
Like we can chat back and forth, you know, and like when your wife and kids go out, you know, for the day or whatever, you're home by yourself. It's like you know, having a coworker when, you know, you're self-employed. It keeps some sort of some sanity.
That's a really good point, actually.
It's like I need another adult to talk to because my dog just keeps turning her head sideways and shit.
Yeah, it's like I need somebody I can swear around and like make some jokes and like, yeah, it's cool, man, because that is a big part I worried about when I was getting ready to leave. Like, because like at that shop that I grew up working at, like those are like that's like my family.
Yeah.
Like on not only the shop floor, but even in admin and engineering, like those, like everybody there was a really important part of my day every day. And I was worried about that when I made the jump because I knew I would be busy, and I knew that like I would be hunkered down in front of my laptop more than I'm in the shop welding. Because like you talk about when you got that mask in front of your face, it's a therapy. But like that was going to potentially be changed up a lot. Like I would lose that social connection with coworkers and stuff, which I really like worried about. But yeah, it's been cool to pick it up with our form of media, like chatting with one another and like a couple other friends who I'm looking forward to meeting at this thing here. But then also like the balance of just always wanting to work, and like I was worried that I would get too stuck in the rut with just go, and so it's been cool to see it actually work. I put a lot of thought into it before I made the jump to make sure I didn't like, you know, end up like having
flat on your face.
Oh, dude, you hear of it though. Like this is a pretty common story with people. They go full time with their businesses and then they have like a
mental breakdown.
Yeah, to 100%, man. And that's a really big thing I was worried about. So I did a lot of work ahead of time to get my kind of ducks in a row and just mitigate stress. And although I'm still like, you know, I have a lot of work to do to like not fuck around on my phone as much and like whatever.
That's the hardest part, dude. That's like my fucking kryptonite, because I mean, like a lot of what I do kind of revolves around social media, you know, so like I've got to have that, but I don't. And like I said, I've got a little bit of ADD, but I also have some OCD. I don't like seeing red circles with numbers next to my apps. Like I've got, oh shit, I got an email. Oh, I got a text message. I got a notification. Like I got to check that. It's something important. And 90% of the time, it's not really. It's something that can wait, but it like diverts my attention.
Yeah.
It's like I need to get a flip phone and just like just have phone call and text message, and then like put my regular iPhone, like just leave that in the house when I'm, you know, out there working and everything, I can focus. But then again, I use my phone as a tool for a lot of the stuff that I do. So it's like it's a necessary evil. It
is a necessary evil, but like I'm feeling how, whoa, there's a big bird that just flew through here.
See?
Did you see one?
Yeah,
earlier?
You got ADOB. Attention deficit. Oh, bird.
Turns out I do, yeah. That was a big bird, though.
ADOSB. Attention deficit. Oh, shit, bird.
Yeah. We'll see how good the extraction systems work around here if we see that bird dead later. Yeah, I've like really felt the pull of my phone, and it's kind of freaking me out because, like you say, it's I'm not one to like really be on social media at all, but we have to be.
Yeah.
Like we 100% have to be posting. Algorithm in Instagram changes. Like, okay, I got to dress how I got to, keep up with that because like this is a business. This is my business,
Yeah,
right? So
that's how you operate, and it's free advertising.
it's a platform that is free, and if you put the work in, that advertising reaches more and more people. And how much do you want to play the game, right? Like, and that's the thing that I'm really struggling with, especially with YouTube, because YouTube is 100% like if you don't release content, like
You don't get recommended.
yeah, it's kind of gross, but like I mean, I also really enjoy it, so that's why I'm fine with it. But like, yeah, I've told my wife, like, if my business goes to the wayside or I give up on it, like, I'm getting a flip phone and like an iPod for my music because
There you
like
go.
this shit is crazy. Like, you went to the washroom over there, and I was like just gonna chill, and I'm like, oh wait, I have like
You got emails I could
really
be checking.
important emails I have to be doing right now. So it's like I can't even like can't give myself a break, but I'm working on it. So.
Yeah. So is this week here? I mean, is it more like a work week, or is it more like a chill week, or is it more like, what are you planning out for? What are you expecting to get out of FabTech?
Well, it's interesting because I'm in a different boat than you are. Like I talked about, you got a lot of commitments and stuff that you got to do. I have like I did a meet and greet at the Edge booth earlier. I have this, this is kind of like a highlight for me. I was really looking forward to this. And then tomorrow I got a welding demo. But that's it. I don't really have a lot of obligations, so I kind of feel like I fly under the radar a little bit just to like walk around and really experience this place because this is so cool. And I don't really have much to keep up with.
Other than emails?
Well, emails, I'll save that for tonight after a couple beers in the hotel room. But like I wanted to meet people. Like you and I talked about it, like having some business representative type stuff to give people professionally, but then also like I have friends I've never seen in person. So
that's the craziest thing is like how many people I have like this really strong connection or bond with that I've never seen in person. And then you come out here to FabTech, you put it like a face to the name or like an actual name to a, like a YouTube handle or something like that. And you get to see these people like this is the first time you and I met.
Yeah.
I got to meet Justin Voss for the first time in person, just before this.
Why is that guy so tall?
I don't know, he's fucking
walked
massive.
around the corner. I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah, it's like an eclipse, dude. He fucking blocks out the sun. He doesn't
so
look
big.
that tall on YouTube.
No.
But you get to meet so many freaking people like that you've developed these relationships, you've connected with, you've had, different interactions with them and stuff. And so it's really cool to like meet them in person. And what sucks is like everybody's from all over the world. Everybody's from everywhere. So it's like the one time everybody can agree to get together is like FabTech.
Yeah. Yeah, it's an interesting spot because when you and I did our first podcast, you asked if I would ever attend something like this.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, well, I've never really thought of it. Like, that sounds like fun, cool. And, 2 years later or something like that, it's like, okay, this makes a lot of sense to be a part of this.
Mm-hmm.
Professionally, to represent my company and also to network, meet people and make like, more of a connection with the friends that I've already kind of made. So
I'm a big proponent of this event just for the simple fact that like networking.
Yeah.
It's done a lot for me. Like I've met a lot of friggin' people just because I met them at FabTech or I get to stay in touch with them or, catch up with them at, these type of events.
Yeah, which is a professional bonus to traveling to something like this. And, I feel like even more that we've made the jump to go full time. Like I have a harder time breaking my routine because I'm like, I need to work. I need to get these things done. And it's like, I got to take off like 4 days and then like maybe let's call it 5 or 6 because I got to get ready for this event.
Yeah, and then you got to travel and break everything down, set everything back up.
Yeah, but it's so worth it, dude. Like it's really important. And I definitely like even just today, even though I haven't really, I haven't done any demos or anything. I've just been meeting people. It's like really, I'm really happy that I've done it to be a part of this. And yeah, I'm just looking forward to like the next couple days to maybe mix a bit of business with just hanging out and meeting people. Cause yeah, Like you're busy.
It's also a nice tax write-off. I mean, it's busy, but it's busy in a good way. So like, Fab Tech is definitely not like a relaxing time for me.
Right.
Just because like I'm all over the place. I got so many different things going on, bouncing from booth to booth to booth to whatever's going on. But I mean, it's good because it scratches that. Hey, I've broken my routine. I got out, so it's kind of like a little bit of vacation. But it also scratches that itch that I feel the constant need to be working.
Yeah.
I mean, if I was a dog, I'd be like a German Shepherd. Like, I need a job. I gotta work. Or like a Malinois. Like, I've got to put in the work. I need tasks.
Yeah. Yeah. It's cool, man. It's weird because like we could definitely just bury ourselves in our work, but
I've done it, and I mean, it's great to an extent, And
well, I'm happy you got me out for this because you were certainly like I got approached by to come to the event, right? And I was kind of humming and hawing over it, but after talking to you about like, it's just a no-brainer, dude. It's like represent my company, meet people, network, and then like we're gonna go out for beers and stuff tonight, which I'm like just looking forward to. Kind of
be more networking.
Yeah, let's call it networking.
Yeah, we'll call it networking.
Is that
we're going to another
tax
networking event? Yeah, it's another tax write-off. It's business meetings and stuff like that. So
my CPA is gonna look at my expenses for the trip and just be like. What?
That's one thing I got into was my buddy Scott was telling me, he's like, oh, you need to get on QuickBooks. And so like I jumped on that and like I probably, what was that? I think August or something, September.
Okay.
I jumped onto QuickBooks and that seems to be helping out quite a bit.
Do you find that helps?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you can use that in Canada. I would imagine so. Okay. Because I know you guys have a different tax code, but I imagine it's pretty similar. Like, but it allows you to track, what's coming in, what's going out.
Yeah.
And for years, like I've been running a mobile welding business since 2014, 2015 time frame. Like right when I got into education, and I found out that like teaching doesn't pay any money, so I had to figure out a way to like supplement my income and support my family. So I started my mobile welding business, and I've been writing manual invoices and like trying to track everything and like just coming up with a mental sort of way of making sure I get paid by these different companies and tracking what's coming in, what's going out on spreadsheets. And it's a pain in the ass, but like I jumped on QuickBooks and I think it's like $8 or $9 a month, not even. And like I can submit all my invoices and it's like plug and play. Like I just tap, who the client is,
right,
what the service was, what the amount was, and it what net 15, net 30, hit submit, boom, they get an email, I get an email. And then it tracks. If they don't pay, it sends them a reminder.
Okay.
And then so I get paid. It gets deposited in my account. I can give my accountant what they call accountant access to my account, so they can pull it up and they can see exactly what I'm spending, what I'm bringing in, and they can do my taxes that way. So it's a lot easier on me.
Yeah.
And it'll probably be a lot easier and cheaper on my accountant because they've got all the numbers right there in real time.
Yeah, that makes a ton of sense. Because like I'm still at that point where I'm like book. Writing it in paper pen type of thing, like keeping track of my numbers, like money in, money out kind of thing. And, it works when it's tax time. Like, I make sure everything's legit. And like, I'm actually like really paranoid about like, making
getting audited.
Oh, dude, that's like my nightmare. So I'm probably a little overcautious about it, but I do feel like something like that I, like you say, you could give your accountant access to it and then they can like have first, like a really good glance over everything, which I think is, I should probably do that.
Yeah, help. Yeah. And like I said, it's only like $8 or $9 a month.
Huh.
It's cheap.
It's like another learning curve to some other thing I have.
It is, and it was a real pain in the dick. Like the first couple of weeks that I was using it, because for some reason like my bank account wouldn't link to it, and I finally got it figured out, and then like it's been smooth sailing ever since. But I think it was like half of my problem not knowing how to use the software, and they have like. When I signed up, they give you like a free 45-minute run through.
Okay.
Like you're on like a Zoom call with a live agent, and you're on your account, and they kind of walk you through step by step how to do a lot of things. But again, it's like drinking from a fire hose. It's like a lot of information to process in 45 minutes because it's really powerful software. But yeah, if you're getting into business on your own, even like you got a small side hustle,
right?
Like start that shit now because there's a lot of tax benefits to like opening your own company. And there's a lot of different things you can do with that, like that'll benefit you as a person, as a business owner, and like having QuickBooks on there is just like it just makes life so much easier. I used to run everything through Microsoft Excel and Gmail,
and
it's
Gmail,
and then it's a pain in the ass.
That's
but
what
like,
I do.
all this stuff, like I sign in, everything's right there, boom. Invoices, you can do quotes, you can convert the quote to an invoice. Like it shows you money coming in, money going out. There's graphs, like I'm a data dork, so I get to see, like it's kind of like analytics on YouTube, you know, like I can check that, but it's like with finances and business and stuff.
Yeah, I think we should have a conversation further about that, because it's that's kind of like the next upgrade. Like I'm working on software upgrades from like my video production. I just bought I bought my cameras a while ago, but I couldn't get a chunk of time to learn how to freaking use the things. So the learning curve is continuing with my production. Steep. But like I'm learning Final Cut Pro right now.
Oh damn!
Which is cool.
That's a powerful software.
Yeah, you know, Peter McKinnon almost had me sold on Premiere Pro, but I just think for what I was going to use and what I needed out of a program, like Final Cut is going to be what it is. But my new cameras, dude, it's like, I mean, it probably is equivalent to like what you have here with like this nice setup, is that like it just changes everything.
Yeah,
like
it takes you to a different level.
And you're motivated, like you're more excited to use your gear and learn how to do things better. Like a camera's a vortex of time you could spend trying to figure it out.
Oh, with all the different settings and shit that are in there.
Endless, dude. Yeah, but like between like Peter McKinnon, like I have a really good, one of my best friends. He helps me out. He does cinematography and stuff. And then my friend Danny, who's going to meet me here at some point, he's also helped me out a ton with that. But yeah, I mean, when you get into editing, it's like, okay, you can learn a program, and then once you learn the program, now it's time to start being creative with it, right? Because it's like a creative process in itself. And that's one that like it's been interesting, because like when I started out, I was just using iMovie, which is still like a great program. But like you learn it, and then you get creative with like how you like doing things. But like as I've started getting better gear, better lights, better cameras and stuff, like my episodes lately have just been so fun to make, because I got like the camera sliders, and the cameras are zooming past my head as I'm welding, and like
that's badass.
It's just fun, dude. Like it just looks really sick. And then like when I get into the editing process, I get to like, I like this angle better, and like I could take half of the slider shot from here, and then like do all kinds of
like
stuff.
A transition and all that.
So unfortunately, my editing time is probably tripled.
Yeah, it's
like,
increased significantly.
There's so much more time to set up and like film. There's more tripods and lights, and I got to move things around while I'm filming, which is fun. But the time has been extended to make an episode, and then the time to edit that has been extended as well. And it's interesting. I wonder if like maybe you've heard this as well, but like there's a lot of like online gurus or whatever you want to call them who are like, just outsource all this stuff. Like get someone to edit your podcast, or get someone to edit your YouTube videos. And I have a tough time with that, because that's one of the, like, this is fun to me. Like what I'm doing with like making episodes and like editing them, writing them, like working with my audience, like literally getting subject matter from my audience and making something like shout out a specific person in an episode, right? Like that's, I worry that I would lose that, and I really enjoy the process right now.
All right, we're going to go ahead and take a quick commercial break. This segment of the Arc Junkies podcast is brought to you by Strong Hand Tools. This company just doesn't stop. It seems like they're releasing new tools to help increase accuracy and help you fabricate faster each week. Seriously, check out their Instagram profile. They're releasing new stuff all the time. Check out their website to see everything they have to offer. Also, if you're in the market for a fabrication table, you can save 10% off right now and get free shipping when you go to stronghandtools.com/promo. The free shipping alone is worth picking up a table right now. We're also brought to you by O2 Armor. Now, this is a product I wish would have been around my entire career. We use earplugs to protect our hearing, safety glasses to protect our eyes, jackets and sleeves to protect our skin, but what are we doing for our lungs? I can tell you from experience, the average welder isn't doing anything. And I know you all see the effects when you go home and you blow your nose and you see all the black boogers. Yeah, it's gross, but it's our reality. Well, now you can block all that stuff out with O2 Armor's concealed nasal filtration system. Check them out at o2armor.com and use Arc Junkies 10 in the discount box at checkout and save 10% on your first order. You can breathe it in or block it with O2 Armor. We're also brought to you by Everlast Welders. People ask me all the time which machine they should start off with, and 9 times out of 10, my answer is Everlast. And no, it's not because they're a sponsor of my show. I've been a fan of these machines long before they supported my work. Everlast machines are perfect for everyone from the home hobbyist to the small business owner. These machines keep up with major brands that cost way more money. But Everlast does it at a fraction of the price and backs it up with a 5-year warranty. Check out their website, everlastwelders.com, and see which machine is right for you. And don't forget to use Arc Junkies in the comment section at checkout. When you buy any machine that comes with a stock foot pedal, you get that free Nova foot pedal and tick torch upgrade. Everlast Welders. Weld mean, weld green. Now let's get back into the show. I've thought about it. Like, I got a buddy that does audio engineering work, and like if I get in a bind, like I had one episode I tried to do like an Instagram live, and like the audio quality was just shit. And so I sent it to him. I was like, "Can you clean this up?" And he did, but he did the best he could do.
Right.
And like he's a professional. Like it was definitely on my fault with the recording, but I was like, can't salvage it. But I do like editing my own stuff. Like I could send my shit to him every week, and he'd have it done in like 20 minutes. Where I'm spending an hour and a half, but I'm getting faster at it. I'm getting better at it, and then I've got like that personal connection. It's something that it's not tangible because it's an audio, but like it's something that I made. That I'm putting my mark on that. It's my baby. Like that's what my whole business revolves around. So I couldn't see outsourcing that out. At least not at this time. I mean, if I start like a video component to the podcast, like everybody keeps telling me, they're like, "Oh, you need to be on YouTube." I might outsource that just because it's like 3 stationary cameras.
Yeah.
And let somebody else, throw that in the mix. Like you figure that out,
Yeah, dude.
Because that's a lot more time that I have away from what I'm doing now.
Yeah, I would gladly help with any of that too, like just as far as
you got enough shit going on.
Well, maybe not doing it, but like advice to help you get it set up, because it makes a lot of sense for you. Like you seem to have and again, I'm speaking to your audience here, not mine, but you have an audience and a community that's very like, phone's going off here, it's driving me nuts. Your audience is a cool community. Like I read your comments and stuff, and your people are really cool, man. Like it makes sense for you because you have such an interesting vibe of like what we're doing right now. Like the fact that we could have like even just 2 tripods set up and just have a video aspect, because like you like Rogan.
Oh yeah.
I love listening to Rogan, but anytime I have time to sit down and watch one, I love doing that because it's more of a hangout.
Yeah.
And
kind of feel like I'm part of the episode at that point.
A little bit, yeah, which is kind of funny. It's kind of bizarre to think about.
Yeah, it's weird. It's weird that way.
You think you're friends with people and you're watching on a screen. But yeah, I don't know. Like, I get what you mean though, because like you and I have to be pretty calculative about what we're doing. Like, we can't say yes to everything. We've talked about that already. There's people that are like, why don't you do more on this social media app, or why don't you run Facebook ads and stuff? And I'm just like, I'm not there. Like, I'm just not there. I have my own, like, I got YouTube.
I got my own method, my own style.
Yep. Yeah. And I know what I'm capable of covering right now as far as workload, that like, I don't want to mess with that at the moment because I'm still pretty new to this new, formula of my business and stuff like that. So like, yeah, that's where I'm at with that, is I just want to keep it like from getting overboard with the work I have to do. And like, I imagine like you starting a YouTube thing, sure, it makes a lot of sense, but yeah, you got to make sure that if you commit to something like that, you don't overload or burn yourself out or whatever.
Well, that's what I was just talking to Justin Voss about, because he said something about it, and I was like, I might do that because like I try to set a new goal for myself and for my business like every year. Like last year it was audio quality and then getting the new studio. Yeah. And like I was able to do that, so I accomplished that. So
the studio is amazing, by the way, man.
Thank you, sir.
It's so cool.
I love it. But that's 2 checks that I was able to put in boxes. So I love that. So this year I think that's kind of what I want to focus on, is like more growth. How do I reach more people? Because like the episodes, like especially for podcasts, none of the podcast downloader apps recommend episodes. Like YouTube, it'll be like, oh, if you like this video, you're going to love this one. And I don't have that with podcasting, so I got to figure out another way to like grow organically. Yeah. And I've done that since, like when I took over 2.5 years ago or 2 years ago or whenever it was, like April 2020. I'm bad with math. Like I've made significant growth, and it's still on that track. But like I still want to, now that this is my full-time gig, and I can focus a little bit more and put more time and effort into it. That's exactly what I want to do, and I want to make sure that that's the only verification that I have is that it's working, is continued growth.
Right. Yeah, I mean, it makes sense. It's it gives you another avenue of community, it does recommend your stuff, but it's still a very slow growth kind of thing. So it's like, it takes time, but you're super right, dude. Like, it's another way that people will find you. It's another way that you can build a community and just put out content for more people to enjoy, right? Like, yeah, it's interesting. Those are the things that I think like are not going to go away. We're always going to have like, you know, things we hear about that we should do, and then like, you know, like can we afford to make this change in our schedule or whatever? But yeah, it's interesting. It's the constant like rolling with the punches you need to do with your own business is crazy. So
yeah, I mean, you got to be pretty flexible too, and you got to be open to change. You got to be open to like recommendations and stuff like that. But you gotta be pretty fluid with it.
Yeah, you have to be fluid with it. It's like, I find like I read a book about business or like, you know, financial or whatever like that, and it's like, while I feel pressured to take everything that seems like a great idea and start doing it, it's like I kind of just like take little things here and there and just go with whatever, like with those kind of things. And like, yeah, I don't know. It's interesting. It's like as long as you're like trying to grow, like, you know, doing slight thing here and there, over time, like your business is going to elevate.
Yeah.
Over time, right? So it's like, as long as you're doing something to improve and learn over time, like, yeah, it's just inevitable that shit grows over time.
Yeah, it's funny because I think that was the episode we talked about last time.
Was it really?
Constant state of progression.
Yeah,
I think that was the title of the episode. I got a shit memory.
Oh, dude, my
memory. I think that's what it was. This is the second shortest thing on me.
It's scary what my memory is doing to me lately, dude. Like,
and honestly, I think it's because so I've sat back and thought about it. Like, I used to have like a really sharp memory, and I think it's because it's like a sensory overload.
Yeah.
Like, because I have to shift gears to do so many different things, whether it's, you know, like working with the AWS, running the podcast, being a dad, being a husband, being a this, being a that, being like all this stuff. You really don't have time to stop and focus on one thing or another.
No.
So you really don't commit anything to like if I don't need it, you know, if it's not super important, it's like a brain dump because I don't have the space for it. I don't have the mental capacity.
Yeah. Yeah, that is. I hope that's what it is. I hope it's nothing more serious, because it is like
cognitive decline. I think cell phones have a lot to do with it too.
Cell phones,
it's instant. Yeah. It's instant information in the palm of your hand, so you don't have to remember anything because you can constantly look it up. So your memory's like, yeah, you know what? I really don't need to log that shit away because you're just gonna like look at the screenshot later on, or you're gonna pull it up on Google. That's
a really good point, actually. Yeah, 100%. Because I do that too. I'm like, I'll need to know something, and I don't even type it anymore. I just ask Siri. And she's
I turn that off. That bitch is always listening.
she listens, man. Yeah, but she's helpful sometimes. But like, yeah, I'll like need something, and then I get it, and then I'm like, hey, back to whatever I was doing, and then I'm like, remember. It's like I didn't even pay attention. Like,
yeah.
Like 100% didn't even pay attention.
It just like flows right through the ears.
Yeah. I was doing that on the flights here. Actually, I asked for some information at like a gate. But I also was asking some other questions, and I straight up like didn't even pay attention to the original
Walked away,
thing that
took
I
3
asked.
steps,
and I was like,
fuck, what gate was that?
I was like, I just forgot and disregarded like what I had just asked. But yeah, I don't know, man. It's funny. We're just busy. Like it's busy on like the state of like trying to. I'm seeing so many people from Instagram that I'm recognizing here that I don't remember their names.
She's from CK Worldwide. No, damn it. I'm gonna edit that out. She's from Fronius.
Fronius, okay. She's from Fronius, really?
Yeah.
What's her name?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I have to pull it up.
I saw her and I waved. But yeah, it's actually, we got these name things.
Those are super helpful.
They're helpful, but I almost wish they had everybody's Instagram handle on them.
That would help.
Because I had some girl come up, she's like, my name's Jessica, like, nice, like, great to see you. And I was like, hi. And she's like, then told me her Instagram handle. I was like, oh yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Now I know who you are. Yeah.
It's like, I'm sorry.
Well, not everybody puts like their actual name in their Instagram either.
I guess, yeah. I guess maybe. But yeah, that would be helpful for sure. But I mean, maybe some people have. But
they might have it on there. I'm sure Dabs has Dabs Wellington on there.
Yeah, I'm so stoked to see that guy. I messaged that dude like quite a bit, and he's trying to yell obscene things. What's he saying?
I'm trying to keep it down. I apologize.
No, we thought
I severely apologize if I've been any trouble at any point.
No, you've been great.
Mr. Pfister apologized.
We were trying to say if you had Dabs Wellington on your badge.
No, I let Fokker name me this year, so it's Mr. Pfister.
Mr. Pfister. How appropriate. Wrong convention, Dabs. There you go.
Nice. Everybody's coming tonight to the party, hey? Like,
It's gonna be freaking lit. Like, everybody
pretty
keeps
stoked.
asking me, like, "Hey, are you going to the meetup tonight?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm co-hosting. Like, I'm co-sponsoring that event. Of course, I'm gonna be there." They're like,
Yeah.
"Oh shit!"
Yeah, it's gonna be fun. And is it near? Where's your hotel? What hotel are you in?
The Marriott Marquis. So
Okay.
it's like 0.8 of a mile from here, and I think the Velvet Underground isn't far. It's like 2-3 minute ride or something like that. I'm gonna catch a Lyft or an Uber.
Yeah, I've been Ubering everywhere so far.
That's the way to go.
Oh, dude.
Well, not Uber. I like Lyft. I'm a Lyft man myself.
Really? What's
Oh,
the
yeah.
difference?
I've been let down a lot less times using Lyft than I have with Uber. I've had a lot more Ubers like cancel to pick up or
Really?
Yeah, I've just had issues with. I mean, it might be different now, but like when I used to travel with Weld.com, I used Uber a lot, and then it started letting me down, so I switched over to Lyft. And it's been nothing but like great experiences. And I know a lot of like the Lyft and a lot of people like they run Lyft and Uber and DoorDash, because they're like tapping into all three streams of that revenue.
Nice.
But I don't know if it's the app or what. But I seem to have better luck with Lyft or the local taxi. Like this morning, I just took a taxi.
Really?
And it was like $10.
Oh my god. We don't
But I
have.
had so much shit that like I'm not walking down the streets of frickin' Atlanta, pulling a frickin' Pelican case.
Bad
and
idea.
a tablecloth and like banners and all that shit.
Yeah, it was interesting because Uber is actually not legal on Vancouver Island where I live.
Oh, no kidding.
It's good to go in Vancouver, but on the island, the cabbies union just
Oh, yeah.
squashes that. It's not a thing. So this has been cool. I've used it before. We're traveling and whatnot, but like,
Do you
dude,
guys have like bird scooters or anything like that?
No, and I see those here. Those are freaking.
They're freaking. I seen a dude like unloading like a 20-foot trailer of these freaking scooters on the side of the road this morning.
Dude, I saw that
Holy
this morning.
Shit.
Yeah, I watched
Probably
that.
the same dude.
Maybe I was standing in the window brushing my teeth in my underwear looking out at the city. It's like, what's the guy doing? But like this convention center alone, how dope would one of those scooters be just to get from
A to B. Oh,
this
yeah.
place is fucking
But you wouldn't be able to
huge, man.
drive one because there's so many freaking people here. You'd just be running into people.
I'm
like,
a bit-
literally.
I'm a bit of a skillsman on the scooter. So
Well, yeah, you got a long line of BMX.
yeah. I used to actually go walk my dogs on a like Razor scooter. And just put one hand in the center of the bars.
Oh, fuck, you're a
coffee
braver
in the
man
other
than
hand,
I.
and just I actually filmed a bunch of Instagram clips of me like racing
With the
my
dogs
dogs
pulling
and
you?
shit. Yeah, it was funny, but yeah, I don't do. My dogs aren't here anymore, so
That's such
I
a
haven't
tiny wheel. Like one like quarter-inch turn and you're
Oh, yeah.
done.
Yeah,
For a pebble.
I've eaten shit a few times on
Yeah.
the Razor scooter, but it's all good. I had some tricks when I used to do the CWS like gig at my shop. I would pull up on my scooter, like I traveled to other people's workstation on my scooter, and like come in with like a bar spin or a tail whip or something like that.
Dude, I used to love like the old school scooters. Like before the Razor scooter,
Okay.
we had like back in the day, like 90s, like a scooter. Like it was the size of a bicycle, but it
yeah.
was a scooter. Like probably 8 to 10 inch tires, one in the front, one in the rear, and then there was like a little 2-foot platform in the middle, and like bicycle handles.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
those were freaking awesome. I used to
That's-
love that little fucker.
Man, that would be so fun on a trip like this, because I've actually traveled for
But it was
BMX.
manual. That sucked.
Oh, okay.
I was poor as a kid, but
Well, no, those are still fun. I like the pushing. But for something like this, like I've traveled to BMX competitions, and one of my favorite things is that obviously you have your bike with you, right? So I'll like go for the competition to ride in the competition, but all of me and my homies, like we build our bikes and we just cruise the city for like days before and after the contest. And I actually had a moment this morning where I looked out at the weather is just unreal, beautiful
it's
here.
beautiful this week.
I was like, I wish I had my bike, like, or a scooter, or just anything, because you just rip around, you just see stuff. My hotel's right next to this like giant, beautiful park right by the aquarium, which I'm 100% hitting, by the way, at some point on this trip.
The aquarium?
Yeah.
My wife wants to come up here, and I was like, I don't know if it's worth going up to Atlanta to see the aquarium. We got a pretty dope one out in Tampa.
Oh, do you really?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, I guess.
That's where they had the Winter the dolphin, the tailless dolphin.
Oh,
Yeah,
interesting.
she recently died. Rest in peace.
Oh, that's a bummer.
Yeah.
You want to know some aquarium history to Vancouver Island?
Well, yeah. What do you got?
Well, you see this. It was on Netflix called Blackfish.
Oh, yeah.
So that whale, that's all in Victoria.
Oh, no shit.
I went and saw that whale do its whale stuff when I was a kid. Like,
Okay.
100%. So those trainers that got fucked up by that whale, the lady who got dragged to the bottom and her wrist super broken, and like I remember hearing about that in the news as a kid.
Oh, no kidding.
Like that was all local news. Was Tilikum the whale? I think
Yeah,
that might have been a
Tilikum.
snail. Yeah. Horrible, dude. Like I think about that, and so sounds like your aquarium history is a little more like.
Well, no,
ours is
because
dark.
we got SeaWorld in Orlando there,
Oh,
too.
okay,
so
yes.
This is right there.
Yeah, fuck
Shamu
SeaWorld.
and all that,
Oh,
yeah.
fuck
I
SeaWorld.
grew up going to that, you know.
We never knew, right? Like as a kid, it's just this. You're just
Yeah.
stoked, and.
But I mean, I think they do a lot of good, too, there at the
hope
animal
so.
parks. I mean,
I hope
like
so.
they do a lot of rescue work and stuff like that, but you
That's
generate
cool.
a lot more money. People are more willing to donate when they can watch one of these things, like, you know, do a backflip out of the frickin' water and put on a cool show. And
Yeah.
I mean, damned if you do, damned if you don't. But I mean, yeah, they did have some. According to that movie, they
Yeah.
had some unethical business practices of breeding.
Yeah.
It's like you're not really helping that guy out anymore. I mean, you helping him get a release once in a while, but
Dude,
you know,
it's so dark.
release
like,
him back into the wild.
Fucking some of those scenes, dude, like just like straight up like choking up watching, like separating whale. Like we're getting way off topic here, but
ADOS.
yeah. Oh shit, a whale.
Yeah. ADOSW. Attention division. Oh shit, whale. We're gonna have a lot of these.
I'm down. I'm super down. These are the best types of podcasts. Should I grab my tripod? I'd like to film some of this real
Yeah, we
quick.
can.
My backpack's just on the other side of that thing
Okay.
right there. You want to pause it for a second? You get that background noise.
And we're back. Well, so like if I should be able to capture that background noise, like a segment of it, and then isolate that out of the entire show. Hopefully.
Really?
Hopefully, yeah.
What program do you use? How do you do that?
Audacity is so like I used. I'm using Logic Pro right now.
Logic is sick. I
And
love
it's-
Logic.
It's great. It doesn't have as much. I mean, it's great for music.
Yeah.
I don't think it's great for podcasts. You can do podcasts with it. I was using Audition from Acrobat.
Okay.
Or Adobe Audition, and that's great. But it's like you need a degree, or you need like a lot of time on that software because
Yeah.
it's super powerful. But with Logic Pro, I just don't have as many controls, which I like. So I use Audacity because I get a lot more features in that one, and it's a free version.
Interesting.
It's just not great for like post-processing. So a lot of times, like if I have to amplify something, I get a lot more. I got a lot more features in Audacity, so I can
Okay.
amplify. I can cut out different words, or not words, but like different sounds and stuff like that. Like hopefully the background noise, I'll be able to isolate that out, and then I can convert that into an MP3. And then I'll put that in Logic Pro. And then
Sweet.
from there, I can start editing things out. I can put
Yeah.
the ads in, the mid-rolls, the intro, the outro, sound effects, all that good stuff.
That's cool, man. I'm gonna take a program. I'm looking at different like certified programs for Logic because
Look into that Skillshare. So I see that ad all the time on Alex Steele's channel.
okay.
But damn it, I just said it. See, there goes that freaking memory again. Skillshare.
Yeah.
So like you can type in like, but it's like a paid platform. But you can get like classes, like master classes on all kinds of different shit.
Right.
So it's kind of like YouTube University, but it's a lot more structured and detailed. Very similar, I would imagine, to like your online welding program.
Yeah.
But for like other topics. So like you want to learn
Yeah.
Photoshop. It teaches you the base. It's like going to school, like an online school for like different topics.
Yeah, and that's exactly what I've tried to set up with my program, and like it's just there's just so many cool options for learning platforms, which I guess is like we just have a great opportunity to be able to learn on all kinds of stuff, like different programs, photography, whatever, like fucking whatever. Like it's crazy, man. I would like happily pay for like a subscription to Skillshare, like even like random stuff like let's cook a dope meal or something like that. Like, yeah, it's just, it's cool. I love learning. And
Dude,
like,
and YouTube's great, don't get me wrong, but like, I think Skillshare, I haven't used Skillshare, I want to. I think it's a little bit more structured,
yeah.
But like I've cooked some badass meals checking out, some of Gordon Ramsay's stuff on YouTube.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, like I did a badass beef Wellington, not a Dabs Wellington, I did a beef Wellington a couple years ago, and I used Gordon Ramsay's recipe.
That's cool. Yeah, I mean, like I pay for YouTube Premium and everything because I love YouTube.
What do
I
you
watch
get out of Premium?
No ads, which is the best thing. But there's also other perks you can download to take with you, which is great for planes and all that.
Okay.
You can also have background, so like you can just listen while you're still playing on your phone with other stuff.
Oh, so cool thing about iPhone, like I can open up YouTube now because I used to get that YouTube Red or like YouTube Premium. If I'm watching a video, I can swipe up, and it'll minimize the screen, and I can go into like Instagram, I can go into like text messages, emails, and the video's still playing in the background.
That is a nice little
So
hack.
I don't have to pay for that. And then there's like YouTube downloader apps.
Okay.
There's like I'll share some of that with you if I can find it. Where you can like cut the audio out of a YouTube video. So now you can like, I don't know if it's legal. It's got to be legal. It's an app on the Apple Store. But like, you can. There's a bunch of stuff you can get a lot of those benefits. It's a little bit more work around, but it's free $99.
That's good. Yeah, I mean, hey, like it sounds like everybody's got their way of consuming the type of content they want. But yeah, Skillshare is something I would like happily get into for whatever, and like especially with video editing, like Peter McKinnon, we keep bringing that dude's name up. Like he has no learning content aside from his YouTube. Mm-hmm. If that guy dropped a like online program or whatever for like the subscription service for like fucking, let's call it like $50 a month, I would 100% pay for that.
Oh, there's probably a lot of his listeners that would do that.
Oh yeah. It's like that's such, and I think maybe that's the thing about Skillshare is it's such valuable niche information to exactly the type of person that needs that type of information. And like, I've set up my program on a platform that just works for me type of thing. I could have done it on Skillshare, but there's just different features that I liked about the one that I went with, and like. It's cool. It's cool being a consumer of online programs and content as well as creating them as well.
Well, your program's a little bit different anyway because, I mean, like you get to control everything, how it's put out there, how it's viewed, how it's utilized. Like, I mean, you've got a lot more control over that, whereas I would imagine if you went with a company like Skillshare or something like that, it's got to format their what do they call that? Their logic, in their system.
Yeah, it's interesting. There's drawbacks to every platform. Like I take a pretty like heavy cut on like what people pay for stuff on like, but the program gives me the best representation of the material I want to put out there. Mm-hmm. So I'll happily like take the haircut on that one. Yeah. It's like, I just want the experience for a student to be the way I would want to do it. Like when I take a program on like whatever it is I've done in the past, and then other programs I'm going to do is like, I want an experience that works really well for me. And yeah, I'm just happy to be able to kind of get that together for somebody and make it my own. Like with the textbook pages and everything, like there's, 200 pages that someone can print out and have access to. And I'm actually going to start like, I guess the episode will come out this Friday. I'm going to start doing something where I'm making mini textbooks for my episodes that are going to come out on YouTube.
Oh, that's cool.
So it's like, most people are cool to like either enjoy the YouTube content. Content.
Easy for you to say.
Yeah. But also like I have, the students in the program, right? But like my goal of my YouTube channel has been like I obviously admire and respect 100% of the, other channels out there. Like I just met Jody actually before, and like Justin and a bunch of other people who make awesome YouTube content. I have nothing but respect for all them, but I want my channel to be different, like very different. And I want part of a way to make it different aside from my own personal brand is to just like keep dumping great content on people that enjoy the content that I make. So making like stuff where there's an episode that'll go to like a private area on my website. It's free. People can like download the PDF textbook for that episode because it's just another way to support kind of like online learning and stuff like that. And I also don't think that like somebody like, obviously if you want to go deep with a program like I want to do with my music and stuff like that, like I'll pay for like an audio engineering course. Like I have no problem doing that because it's important to me. People that want to do that with my material can absolutely do that. But I also I just want to raise the bar of like what is on my YouTube channel of like, frequency of content is something that I find is pretty important. Like I just want to keep people like, with fresh content and like, old episodes that I watch and I'm like, oh my God, my cameras were like fucking bogus in this one. So let's redo that. And like,
No, leave it.
They're all there, but I just
Yeah.
redo the episodes and like try and make everything better, right? And then more learning material for people is like for free. Like,
Yeah.
dude, I ask nothing of it. Like, just go to the website and grab that.
Yeah.
Like, it's
I like
free.
what you do with your like your textbook, because it's all like written, almost like if you're into comics,
Yeah.
like you'll really appreciate what you do on with your textbooks, and you do all the artwork for that stuff, right?
Do everything.
Yeah. This
Yeah.
is super fucking talented dude. Like
Oh,
fucking
thanks,
music
man.
and welding and YouTube and the drawing and like all that shit. Super talented.
No, thank you, man. This really has become the funnest way to put all of my interests together. Like, I love music. I love
It's cool
welding.
how like welding has brought all of your different skill sets together into like one medium.
Yeah. Yeah, it is really cool.
Because you do your own music, so your own music for the overlays, your own artwork, on the stuff, the stuff that your drawings artwork, and then the skills that it takes to weld all this stuff up, and then the skills that it takes to combine all that into a YouTube video and release that as content.
Yeah.
It's a lot of fucking work.
I have I'll kind of show my cards a little bit here, but I'm like, so I've been working on an art project for over a year now, essentially. Not because it's like super. I mean, it's a pretty big piece and it's very, very detailed and stuff. But I've just been so focused on the business that it's taken me so long to get back and complete this art project. But part of the blessing of that is I actually kind of changed the format of how I plan to put an art project out, because before I would do like a documentary of me making the art project, and then at the end of the episode you see the art project and that's the end of it, right? But I am gonna do it totally different now, where I'm really into like movie scores, and I fucking love music, dude. Like, music is the most important thing in my life. So I've known how to use these recording programs for a really long time. So I've started producing a soundtrack specific to each art piece that I'm doing now. So it probably won't come out for a couple more months. I really wanted to do it last month, but it's just life and everything. So it's going to be cool because I really am going to be able to integrate music with my art pieces now. So my YouTube channel is kind of like half tutorials and like the occasional art piece kind of thing, and then sprinkled in with a bunch of other stuff for the audience. But I'm going to be able to really make those art pieces my special thing, and to drop one every 4 or 5 months kind of thing, and not have an expected time on it. It's just when it's done kind of thing. And I was flying here and I worked on music the whole way on the plane. I just had my headphones on. I just love it. So yeah, it's been a nice, welding has been the background of bringing all these things together and creating the best stuff I can on YouTube for people I genuinely want to help, because I wish I had the help when I first started.
Yeah.
It's really important to me, man.
That's the biggest drive for me, is I wish I would have had these different resources that are available today when I started off on my welding journey, because I could have hit the fast forward button on a lot of shit and but now, I mean, the information's everywhere, whether it's Instagram, YouTube, podcasts. I mean, it's out there.
Yeah.
And 99.9% of it is for free. You just got to, put in a little bit of time to find it and, sit there and, sift through the valuable information and then put it to practical application.
Yeah, practical application and strategic practice, and that's, you can accomplish literally anything with that. Yeah, it's cool. It's really cool, man. I was talking to an Uber driver on the way here, and he was telling me about his other job. He does crypto and stuff, and he's he's driving a new Tesla and all this stuff. I'm like, this is sweet. And I was like, how did you learn? Because crypto is freaking foreign language to me.
Yeah.
I don't understand
It's
it at all.
NFTs.
Yeah, the same thing. And he's like, YouTube. I just watch YouTube videos, and I've changed my life because I'm making money in a different way. I don't have to it was just so cool, man. It's one of those moments you're like, holy shit, we live in a totally different time nowadays.
Yeah. There's a lot of different ways you can make money.
Yeah, make money or follow a passion or get inspired to follow a passion. That's for sure a big part of why I made the jump to do what I'm doing. You listen to guys like Rogan or lots of other books that I've read on Audible or whatever, and it's so important. I probably wouldn't have had the motivation to go through with doing what I'm doing without that stuff. And yeah, it's important, man. And the ability to do whatever you want with your life, whether it's a hobby, passion.
Now's the time to be alive and do that shit. It's really cool, and it's almost like a different type of revolution that we're going through right now, as far as like the ability to have access and have the ability to just have access to the ability to do this stuff.
Yeah,
Right there through a cell phone or a computer. It's insane.
You can sit there on the toilet and learn
you could quit your job and learn how to do freaking NFTs and crypto, and then start a welding gig. Now you get 3 different sources of income coming in.
Yeah.
But the information's there and it's free.
It's free, and it's kind of like the what are you going to do with it? Like the same information can be delivered to anybody, and it's a true okay, it's there, but what are you going to do? Like, you can literally shape anything. We were talking about it with Austin Hill and a couple other dudes over at the Edge welding tent there, and it's just the sheer amount of avenues you can do with welding in a career is pretty crazy. Whether it's just general production welding or field welding or instruction or supervision or inspection or an educator, it's just crazy, man. Yeah.
There's a lot of different facets you can get into with welding. It's insane the amount of different jobs that are available and the different avenues you can take that still falls back to welding.
Yeah, and I think that's something that I've met quite a few people here today that have kind of said, they're looking at doing this or looking at doing that. I met some dude, I can't recall his name right now, but he's 15 and he's just getting into it, and he's really got a good setup going already. And I was like, listen, dude, whether it's welding or owning your own business or using that as a transition to something else in your life, you can do anything you want. And it's that's kind of the shit that we heard here and there growing up, but there was no context to it. So I don't really feel like that didn't stick with me. But with what we've been talking about with online learning and stuff, you can literally do whatever you want as a career path. You can stick it out with a standard, career path to start, kind of find your groove, find what you like and what you don't like about what you're doing, and then you can make it your own. And it's such a unique time that you and I live in. And both of us are perfect examples of that. We've had secure, great jobs that made us feel paying the bills, everything, we're contributing to family and society we're supposed to. But there are other paths, and it's scary and it's overwhelming, and there's a lot of inner stuff that comes into play where it's nah, that's stupid, or my friends will think that's dumb, or I was editing YouTube videos on my lunch breaks when my coworkers would be like, the fuck you doing? Right?
What do? You get your little YouTube channel going on here, buddy?
And then it's no, there's something I want to do, and I'm just going to keep doing it until it works. And if I find something else that takes my interest in the, in the path,
bounce off that way.
Exactly. You dip out and you do something else. But it's important that people know that with welding, you do traditional schooling, you get certified, and you pick kind of what is the best fit for you, in the trades. That's so valuable. I would never redo what I've done so far without doing all that stuff. That's very important. But yeah, it's I encourage people to really think about stuff that you want to do, and just fucking do it.
Just
man.
go do it.
Just fucking do it. There's a lot of stuff that's happened in life in the last couple years with losing some people and just shit out of nowhere. That just life is, it can turn really quickly, and not to get into the whole life is short, man, kind of thing, but it's there's just too many opportunities to go do whatever you want these days. And yeah, I just want to encourage people, whether on my YouTube channel or even this with you, to just fucking do stuff like that. Do something out of the blue. Obviously don't jeopardize what you got going on. And I have 2 kids, wife and everything. I can't afford to make any mistakes, right? But it's certainly worth it.
It's worth the risk.
It's worth the risk.
Yeah.
And you don't have to take the risk is the coolest thing, is you can make a calculative side hustle for 3 years like I did that eventually transitions to something that
into a full-time career.
Yeah. And you and I have talked about you're really into setting goals and reaching high and stuff, and it's really natural that people don't feel comfortable to do that, and I completely understand that, but man, this shit is possible. Like you can do cool stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And don't let anybody tell you that you can't or your dreams are too big or any of that stuff.
Post Malone, I saw him 2 nights ago, and he had a whole part in his set where he stopped, and he was like, look at this. People told me that this was a dumb idea, and fucking look at this. Like, he was just like, if you have something that you want to do, playing music, being an artist, starting your own business, whatever, side hustle, or getting into fucking paintball or something random on the side, like, you got to do it. You have to do it. So.
And pour your heart and soul into it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%, man. Yeah.
Shit. It's probably a good spot to end it.
Yeah, and I think
Let's
we kind of
go.
end similar to this on all our podcasts.
It might
we
be.
do together. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll
and
go.
I owe you a
for the
beer
show.
too, so we're going to go do that now. Go
right.
buy another beer.
Before we get out of here, why don't you tell everybody where they can find you if they haven't found you already?
Yeah, for sure go to YouTube, Pacific Arc TIG Welding. You can look that up on all social platforms, Instagram, TikTok. I don't do much on TikTok, but it's there. But YouTube is my big one. And then, so if you're interested in learning about the online learning, PacificArcTigWelding.com. And just keep an eye on my YouTube, because my YouTube, like I said, is going to start having more learning material for people to just go get for free. Like, I just want to give the stuff away. So that'll kind of be the hub of like where people should hang out. And like, there'll be some stuff there pretty soon for people to kick it and enjoy.
Awesome. I'll put all the links in the show notes for that.
Thanks, man.
All right, brother.
Dude, we got empties, but cheers anyway.
Cheers.
This is awesome. Thank you.
All right, ladies and gents, that is all I have for you for today's episode. Be sure to tune in this Wednesday for a special bonus episode of Weld Wednesdays with AWS, where I chat with Jeremy Condry from Southern Weld Company. Hope you'll have a great rest of your week. Stay safe out there, and until next time, make every weld better than your last.